love you.
The White Lotus day was here, and oh boy, the wait was totally worth it. I was not expecting all the things to play out like this based on the trailer, but here we are. So let's talk about all the events that happened in episode 6, aptly titled Denials, and get to business. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
I need your help.
He knows about you.
Me?
The full moon party aftermath. The full moon party on Greg's boat in the 5th episode really had all of us hyped up. I mean, come on. Chloe and Chelsea alone with Lachlan and Saxon? Sounds like a recipe for disaster. And well, it was disastrous. Just not for everyone. So in the 5th episode, some people pointed out that it seemed that Lachlan actually spat the drug out after Saxon took the drug. Now, whether or not Lachlan did it for sure, we don't know yet. Either way, it doesn't change the events that went on the yacht. Saxon was targeting Chelsea while pushing Lachlan onto Chloe. Well, as it turns out, Saxon was not going to betray her soulmate Rick, so in the end, Chloe, Lachlan, and Saxon ended up with a threesome. Well, kinda. It more seemed like our epic, macho, super masculine dude bro Saxon got cucked by his brother. And as if that wasn't enough, we later find out that Saxon was touched by Lachlan. Yep, Lachlan jerked him off. The gay cest in this show is extremely high. In this episode, we watch Saxon's confidence getting shattered as memories start coming back to him from the night before. At first, he remembered Lachlan and Chloe entangled in an amorous embrace while he was on the side, doing his own thing. It's definitely fascinating how Saxon reacted to remembering getting cucked. You can see his alpha mask slip up. The drug, the alcohol, the memories, or the lack of memories, truly has Saxon so disoriented that he can't even look at Lachlan when he wakes up. We see Saxon going through the worst of the worst regret hangovers, and that poor boy really does not deserve it. Lachlan, on the other hand, seems to not remember anything from last night. Now, if he had spat out the pill the night before, then it would mean that Lachlan was well aware of what he was doing when he kissed Saxon and later touched him. If he hadn't spat out the pill, it would still make sense, given the interview Sam Nivola gave about his character. Lachlan is a people pleaser, and he just wants to make people happy. He's always seen Saxon be super sexually charged and extremely open about his sexual desires. So, in his eyes, in the drug-induced state, Lachlan was okay touching his brother, thinking it would make him happy. Also, it makes 100% sense if Lachlan comes out as bisexual, because the hints have been in our faces since the posture correction thing at the spa. While Saxon genuinely believed that the brothers kissed because the girls forced them to as a joke, Chloe and Chelsea later cleared it out by saying that no one forced him to do anything. That tracks rather well with how the events have played out so far, because not once did we see Saxon reach out and touch Lachlan in the makeout session. It was Lachlan who initiated it, and the way he smiled after kissing his brother made it evident that Lachlan was more than happy being dominant over Saxon. So now we have Saxon completely shattered, and trying to scramble together his masculinity after going into the party thinking he would have a grand old time. On the other hand, we have Chloe, who got caught cheating on Greg. He's not even mad at her about it, which is definitely far more menacing. With the way he pushed her to know how the thing went down, I don't know guys, I have a bad feeling about this. But Chloe definitely takes the cake for me. So far, from the very first episode of the show, we saw Saxon as the douchebag extraordinaire. He was the predator, but now in this episode, I realized that Saxon is basically all bark, no bite. Chloe, on the other hand, is much more cold. The way she was describing Lachlan to Chelsea in the previous episode gave me serious pedo vibes. And then the casual way she told Saxon that Greg knows about their affair really rubbed me the wrong way. It seems like Chloe is okay doing whatever as long as she's not the one who has to deal with the aftermath. She figured out that she wouldn't be in hot waters and went along with Greg's plan to invite Saxon over. To stay or not to stay in Taiwan. Oh, Victoria Ratliff. She's just something else. Parker Posey really plays the slightly depressed, overly anxious lorazepam-addicted white lady to a T. In 5th episode, we saw her showcase a little bit of microaggression toward the Buddhist community while ironically dressed like them. Now, in this episode, we see her go full on that microaggression. I have no idea if she has microaggression for White Ladies 101 stashed in her pill bag, but I wouldn't be surprised if she does. Other than not knowing if she's in Taiwan or Thailand, the way she behaves with Piper for wanting to stay in Thailand for a year truly goes to show how her mentality is. She goes with Tim to check out the monastery, and the entire time she seems to be looking at the flaws of the minimalist way of living. Eventually, she thinks she made a grand old slam dunk when she tells Piper to stay the night at the monastery. Deep down, Victoria seems to be projecting her own issues onto Piper, which is confirmed when we see her talk to Tim about comfortable living. Speaking of Tim, he spoke with the head monk of the monastery, and who'da thought? Tim is moved by the talk. His chat with the head monk made him accept death as it is, and realize how running after materialistic things will never bring him the pleasure that he seeks so desperately. He comes out of the whole visit more than happy to let Piper stay the year there. And because of this realization, we see Tim talk to Victoria later that night about poverty and how they would survive if they didn't have the cushioning or wealth. Victoria's words of not wanting to live uncomfortably seem to make Tim realize just how alone he is in this whole fiasco, even though he is around her, and honestly, that was a little heartbreaking to watch. I definitely got a shock when the first scene of the show was Tim shooting himself, but I'm so glad I get to see more of Jason Isaac being absolutely loopy and confused. Tim's acceptance of death and poverty is probably what led him to seemingly open up to Saxon about their condition in the episode trailer for episode 7. However, I don't think Tim will get the support that he desperately wants from Saxon either. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tim actually ends up doing a homicide and suicide with Victoria. Also, I have to mention the Locker and Pipeline name switch. That's been running constantly in my head since I saw the episode, and it's so insane that no one in his family is noticing that this man is completely out of it the entire time, even after he flashed his genitals at breakfast. I hope Saxon realizes that something is off with his father with this small name switcheroo. Now, coming to Piper, I think something interesting will happen during her stay in the monastery. I wouldn't be surprised if Piper ends up becoming one of those people who think they can live without the wealth they were born into while never realizing the privilege that comes with it. But once they experience that, they no longer wish to experience it ever again. And all of their self-help and self-realization guru things turn into moot. I would be happy if this did not happen, but it's Mike White. It just might happen. Speaking of staying at the monastery, isn't it interesting how quickly Lockie changes the team? He knew that Piper needed him at dinner that night, but he chose to go to the full moon party with Saxon. And now, ever since he's returned, he's been Team Piper, even going as far as to spend the night at the monastery with her. I think something might come up in the brother-sister conversation that would definitely leave both siblings shaken up. A part of me likes to believe that maybe Lachlan remembers what happened the night before, and since Saxon is pulling away from him, Lachlan wants to hide away from Saxon to protect himself. The girl gang. Listen, I love all the characters on the White Lotus, but I personally feel strongly for the three ladies, Jacqueline, Laurie, and Kate. Perhaps it's because catty friendships like this are so familiar to me that I totally 100% get all the passive-aggressive jabs they keep throwing at each other. I'm so happy that finally the masks are off. We all know how Jacqueline has been pushing Valentine and Laurie onto one another from day one, right? However, in episode 5, Jacqueline decides to sleep with Valentine. And for what reason? To feel some desirability? To feel young? To feel attention? I don't know. When I saw that scene happen, all I could think about was how would Laurie react to this, given she's dead asleep when they get together. And what do you know? It is Kate. Kate is so spineless. She intentionally stirred the pot between Laurie and Jacqueline at breakfast by telling Laurie about the hookup. She keeps trying to brush it off as a joke, but she knew that Laurie was starting to open up about the idea of hooking up with Valentine. Plus, they're childhood friends. Wouldn't she know by now how Laurie would react to things like this? Oh my god, I hate the way Jacqueline starts playing the victim. She starts gaslighting Kate and Laurie, claiming that she totally did not hook up with Valentine when we know she did. Unless they kissed and humped each other for 2 minutes and spent the whole night playing Monopoly. But I didn't see a Monopoly board anywhere, so hook up it is. Like Laurie has made it clear, it's not even about the fact that Jacqueline slept with Valentine that bothers her. It's the fact that Jacqueline intentionally pushed Laurie towards Valentine from day one, and then, all of a sudden, when she saw Laurie and Valentine starting to get closer to a degree, she swooped in and slept with Valentine. The cattiness of the trio is so juicy, I live for it. I found it extremely entertaining when Laurie started doing the passive-aggressive tango of, yeah, no, I want to stay back in the hotel, and, oh, Valentine would be there, we should go watch the fight, because, oh boy, have I experienced that firsthand. I also find it interesting how their behavior goes along with their professions. Jacqueline, the actress, is putting up an act around her friends. Laurie, the lawyer, has no problems being straightforward about the issue, and Kate, the meek housewife, is gossiping, hoping to bond, but now is left dealing with the aftermath of a bad gossip session. Michelle Monaghan, Carrie Coon, and Leslie Bibb have my eyes glued to the screen, and I love it. Rick's little Frank roleplay. After such an earth-shattering monologue about wanting to be an Asian girl, I'm so glad to see Sam Rockwell and Walter Goggins' roleplay being something much more tame than what I had expected. Rick looked positively enlightened by Frank's words, and I was worried he wanted to take some of that action for himself. But nope, Rick simply wants Frank to pretend that he's the rich Hollywood producer who's super interested in Sritala and to gain access to her house. That way, Rick would be able to meet with the man who killed his father, Sritala's husband, and tell him just how badly he's messed up Rick's life. But I believe the gun in Rick's jacket would do the talking, not him. I also think that the popular Reddit theory about Sritala's husband being Rick's birth father would probably end up being true. It would make total sense if Rick's mother lied to Rick about who his father truly was, so that he would grow up worshipping the man instead of despising him. Of course, she probably wouldn't have done it if she knew that he would take the Inigo Montoya route, but oh well. Now we have to see the next episode with bated breath, because Rick is finally going to see Sritala's husband, according to the trailer. Although, now that I think about it, what if in the end, Frank ends up pretending to be Sritala's husband for a scene, as a roleplay, and Rick vents out his frustrations on him as a very interesting therapy approach if this home visit amounts to nothing? Surely that wouldn't happen, but then again, it is Mark White we're talking about. How do we ever know anything for certain? Belinda's spa might just happen. I don't know about you guys, but I was surely cheering when Belinda got a little something from Panchai. She deserves the best things in her life, and surely Panchai is one of them. In this episode, Zion, Belinda's son, shows up, and finally, after a nice reunion with her son after many months, Belinda gets an offer to open up the spa with Panchai in Thailand. That way, Belinda would get to have her business and Boo all together. I mean, sure, Belinda's a bit doubtful about that because of Tanya's behavior in season 1, but surely things won't go wrong with Panchai. And if that wasn't enough, we also see Belinda get cornered by Greg Gary. He wants her to show up at the dinner party, where he forces Chloe to invite Saxon and Lachlan. While Belinda brushed it aside, claiming Zion is jet-lagged, from the next episode trailer, it seems like she would end up paying Greg Gary a visit thanks to Zion's insistence. I think Greg would probably give her some hush money because it seems like he's done pretending to be someone else. But at the same time, for all we know, he could also try to murder her. I guess we'll have to find out. Gaytok's gun and Fabian's fun. Say what you want, but Gaytok is definitely like one of those personality hires, because man makes things so hard on everyone, including himself. Luckily, in this episode, he managed to redeem himself by sneaking into Ratliff's hotel room and getting incredibly lucky with that drawer chest. With his gun in hand, Gaytok goes to the gun range, claiming he does have a killer's instinct, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't. On the other hand, we have Fabian. Poor dude finally managed to gain the courage to sing his song, but I doubt anyone would actually attend his little singing session except the hotel staff. From the trailer, it seems like people are either at the fight or Greg's dinner. Marvelous verdict. So there you have it, guys. I can't wait for the 7th episode to see how the girl gang ends up dealing with this betrayal, given we do see Lori walking on the streets alone. I'm worried for my girl. Let us know what you guys think will happen in the 7th episode, and if you have your own interpretations of the characters in the comments. And I'll see you all next time. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.